You know, a lot was talked about with Chris Jones after the Super Bowl and how dominant he was. And he was. He was great. Absolutely agree with every positive take about Chris Jones because he was really good. However, what I think people aren't really discussing enough of is how important he was in the run game. Again, the Chiefs did a good job at stopping the run against the San Francisco 49ers, and a big part of it was, well, yes, the Spagnuolo scheme and all of that. A big part of it was just Chris Jones being able to win. Like a play like this is going to actually be the right tackle, Colton McKivitz, who's going to block him one-on-one. That's the way this play is designed to work. There is a guard who's going to kind of run past Chris Jones as well, but watch what Jones does here. Watch him sidestep both of those two players like he's a bullfighter or something, and now he's in the backfield already, which is a great situation for the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, the play isn't over, right? You still have to find a way to get to the running back at this point. All you've done here is get in the backfield, but watch how Chris Jones finishes this play as well. As you see, he does get over and he makes that tackle. Again, there was other Kansas City players coming through. It was not just Chris Jones, but he was certainly a part of it. And the fact that he's able to do stuff like that really went a long way towards them being able to, win this football game and being able to slow down Christian McCaffrey the way that they were able to do. Like this one's another one. It's going to be a 2nd down and 3 situation. You see where, that's where Chris Jones is on the field. He's going to be going up one-on-one against a guard this time. The 49ers right guard. Okay, well, let's see how it works out. Right when this play begins, you see, so again, I'm going to pause it right here just to give you kind of a clear idea of what's going on. What Jones is going to try and do is get his left hand and get it on the right guard's right side of his body. And then watch how he just kind of pushes off like that, and now he's, again, in the backfield right here. He is so difficult to block one-on-one, which is really an issue because in the running game, like what's one of the most important things is you need guys to be able to win their one-on-one matchups or the running game isn't going to be able to work. Again, you see Jones also is able to finish off the play. He is able to make a tackle that was on Mitchell there, not McCaffrey, but still an impressive play nonetheless. And this is what Jones was able to do. He had a few of these splash plays early on, and this just does so much for your team, right? Yes, there's the obvious factor of just the yardage you didn't give up on that play, but we all talk about the running game as not just something that is the benefit of the play itself, but kind of what it means outside of that. Especially for San Francisco, so much of their passing game involves kind of run fakes and things of that nature. When you could help, I don't want to say take it out of the game. Like the 49ers still hit their runs. Like that was still, the play action was still a threat. All that stuff was still a threat. But when it wasn't a devastating threat, like we've seen it be in other games, that just made everything else easier. So was Chris Jones just stopping the run all night? Well, no. Like, the 49ers had counters. Something like this is a good example where, you see where he is on the field. Again, it's a one-on-one matchup, and you can't block him one-on-one. He's unblockable, so what do you do if you can't block him one-on-one? Well, San Francisco doesn't exactly just say, let's, hat-on-a-hat football for 60 minutes, right? They do a lot of unique things. They like to mix things up. Watch as this is going to be a pitch to the offense's left, and you see Chris Jones is, he got through unblocked at first, but now, the guard moves over and is in perfect position to block Chris Jones. Again, doing things like this to mix it up and to try and get Chris Jones out of the play. As you see, McCaffrey is going to be able to, once he gets outside, pick up a good run on that one, creates a 3rd down and short on a 2nd down and 10. So good job there by, McCaffrey. Good job by the entire 49ers offense on that play. But I think the issue was this is kind of what they had to do, is they had to really fool Chris Jones. It wasn't enough just to make their blocks. They were having to make their blocks and also kind of get guys out of position with scheme to make it work. And they did it okay. Like, they're still the 49ers, but they weren't able to do it with complete consistency because you can never do that with complete consistency, which is why the overall running game still wasn't great. Also, this play, which at the time felt huge, it didn't end up being huge as the 49ers would go for a 4th down right after and convert. But on this one, it's again going to be a one-on-one matchup with the left guard here for Chris Jones on a 3rd down and 2. And again, situation, 13 minutes left in the game. Chiefs are up 3 points. Look at how when this play begins, you see Chris Jones right here. And again, showing it right here to kind of just to say how this play has set up. You see that the guard definitely has sort of the lower leverage here. But watch Jones get his right arm over, and now he's to the point where he's past 65 for San Francisco. Again, just being able to win these one-on-one matchups with such consistency. Chris Jones's hands, maybe the best hands in the business. You could certainly make that argument. For McCaffrey, what do you do in this situation? Well, again, I don't think his running lane at first was even going to be where Chris Jones is, but what Chris Jones has done is taken an additional option out of the equation for McCaffrey. He can't run there. He knows that, and since his initial running lane isn't open, the only thing McCaffrey can really try and do is bounce things to the outside. McCaffrey tries that, but isn't going to get very far, actually loses a yard. Again, 49ers went for it on fourth down and converted, so it didn't ultimately, on this play, impact it, but perhaps in future plays it did, right? They had some kind of, third down and 4 situations where maybe you think, hey, let's run the ball twice in a typical situation, but, when you already got stuffed on a third down and 2, maybe you don't feel as confident to try that and, can affect things that way. Certainly a possibility. This play was another one where this isn't even a running play, so maybe it's unfair, but you see he's going to get double teamed on this play. That's the first thing to talk about. The Chiefs are going to fake as though it's going to be a pass to Deebo Samuel on this play, fake a screen pass. The 49ers are going to do that. It'd be weird if the Chiefs faked a screen pass. The 49ers will be faking a screen pass on this play. And then they're going to just flip the ball to Christian McCaffrey. Again, sort of an exotic play because it's a second down and 15. They want to at least gain a 6 or 7 yards or so, if nothing else. And hopefully they can pick up a lot of yards. That's the goal on every play, obviously. So, okay, well, let's see how this works out. And again, I should mention this is not a running play, obviously, but it's the kind of, a screen pass type play. I'm going to include it in the video. I think it's in the same ballpark. Right when this play begins, here's what's so great about Chris Jones. You see him on this play, 2 guys are on him. Like, what are you supposed to do? And the fact that he's taking up 2 guys is honestly a pretty big deal in itself. But what makes Chris Jones such an effective player in both the run game, the pass game, and the screen pass game is his awareness. You see him still looking at Brock Purdy. He's paying attention to what's going on. He's not saying, it's a wide receiver screen, whatever. Let me start running down the field that way. The second there's the flip to McCaffrey, Jones is aware of this, and also Jones is moving exactly where he needs to move. He has such a good feel for the game. The best players, listen, there's a lot of talented players in football, and that Chris Jones is certainly more talented than your average defensive tackle in the NFL. But what makes him special, what puts him apart, and why he might be the best defensive tackle in the league right now, although Aaron Donald's still very good, even if he isn't quite what he once was. But what makes Jones so special is his awareness, and also he's really physically gifted. As you see on this play, it's kind of a weird situation where it looks like McCaffrey almost tried to juke out Jones, but kind of just goes down, and Jones does kind of go down as well. So they both kind of just fall right next to each other, which is a funny end to a really impressive play. But, it was a really impressive play, and they definitely deserve credit. Chris Jones definitely deserves credit for his ability to in the screen pass game and in the running game. And again, part of why these types of plays don't really get the juicy headlines that like what you can do in the pass rush game might get is, that play where Brock Purdy had an open receiver, but Chris Jones was able to, create enough pressure to avoid the touchdown. Like, that's a clear and obvious, this is the value that was gained from that play. Stopping the run has a lot of value in other ways. Like I said, 49ers don't feel like they can run the ball as consistently down the stretch. They decide to throw the ball on key downs, and then you have the Chiefs' great secondary that was able to step up on those key downs. Things like that, right? There's so many other factors that come into it besides just the value on these plays. And again, even a play like this, 49ers maybe felt like they couldn't do some of these exotic screen passes because you got 95 you have to worry about. So, yeah. Some great value here by Chris Jones. Might be a video, if you're Chris Jones, you show the Chiefs to make sure you get as much money as possible here in free agency. I don't know. But, he did a lot of things really well in the Super Bowl, not just the pass rush. And, he was amazing in pass rush. So, those are my thoughts. What are yours? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And, of course, as always, thanks for watching.